Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly, and we're going to talk today about the possibility of a fourth stimulus check. Will we get a fourth stimulus check? Let's cover all the bases for and against it, and let's see. Before I get into it, please take a second to like this video. Please hit the subscribe button. Please share it with your friends, colleagues, family members, everybody that you know. But let's get into it. The first stimulus check came from the CARES Act, the original CARES Act, a little over a year ago, and we got $1,200 a person. They went out 8 months later, believe it or not, it was that long, and sent the $600. Now they've sent out the $1,400. Still, there are some people that have not gotten the $1,400. Veterans being dead last, which you know how I feel about that. I'm completely against it. And now there's talk of a fourth stimulus check. There's a proposal in Joe Biden's latest infrastructure bill, which is over $2 trillion, to add an additional stimulus check. Now, originally it had 14 members of House of Representatives and senators, then it turned into 21. Now it's over 40 by all the news accounts that I have, and there's dozens of them. It's over 55 different senators and members of the House of Representatives at this point. In the Build Back Better program, they want to offer a proposal of giving a $2,000 stimulus check. And this would be a one-time payment with a recurring payment of $1,000 a month to every American that's eligible and their dependents, basically adult dependents that live at the house, would get this money. Now, the people that are proposing this is Pramila Jayapal, and here's the graphic from her website. You can take a look at this. And, you know, she's getting support from this. So will this happen? Who knows? You know, the idea with it is immediately provide a $2,000 payment to each and every person in the United States at critical relief during the crisis, followed by a $1,000 recurring monthly payment throughout the ongoing pandemic. Now, the cool thing with this is that it would make a big difference in everybody's life. The stimulus payments have been spent. People have bought things. It has spurred the economy. But it has also brought with it a tremendous amount of inflation. I've already seen it in my grocery store, and the prices for cheese and for yogurt and for cereal and for milk and just the little things, vegetables, meat. I mean, it's crazy how it's shooting up, and that's what free money does. Zimbabwe at one point in time was called the breadbasket of Africa, and it was the richest country in Africa at one point, believe it or not. Now it's the poorest based on the handouts and the free money that Zimbabwe suffered through. You can read about history, and I can bore you with that for hours, but giving away money is not always a good thing. During this time, and by people losing their jobs for no fault of their own, this is something that's desperately needed right now. And the fourth stimulus check, the only thing that would help is if this was done quickly. This was not done quickly the second time. The third time, once they agreed to it, it still took weeks. And there's still people that are watching this video that have not gotten their check. There are senators that are writing President Biden and Vice President Harris and, suggesting that they do this. Let's take a look at this letter. Now, here's the letter that was written to President Biden and Vice President Harris in regards to additional stimulus money. Now, this has gotten the approval. It started with 14, 16, 21. Now it's over 40 different senators and House of Representative members that are interested in pushing the narrative for additional money. Now, we're experiencing the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, with millions of Americans either unemployed, forced out of the workplace, or just plain suffering. Both the CARES Act and recently enacted relief package include a round of direct cash payments. We need more of this, and we're proposing that it happens on an ongoing basis. The stunning financial crisis for those at the bottom of the income ladder demands massive release to those who need it most, recurring payments. So the idea would be a $2,000 payment with monthly $1,000 payments. Continue until the economy recovers with equal payments to adults and dependents. Prioritize those who need it most and will spend it the quickest. Go to the government workers, other dependents, Ilhan Omar, and then here's all the senators and House of Representatives that are involved in this to this date. There are more coming. So what do you think? Think they're going to approve this? Now, does this have legs, and will it go and be added to the infrastructure bill? Who knows? Now, the thing I've heard from Nancy Pelosi is that the infrastructure bill they want resolved by Memorial Day. Guys, it's almost 2 months away, this month and next month. So it's not quick for them to approve something like this. So again, if they did it in 2 months, would we get a check in 2 months? You know, that's the problem with this. And if somebody's thinking that it's going to be a quick fix, that's always the problem with this. Now, let's take a look at why this may not happen. There's 4 reasons that people think that this will not happen, and let's take a look at the 4 reasons. Now, the first reason for not having stimulus is that the vaccines are being disseminated throughout the country. Here in California, they basically opened it up to almost every adult, and they mentioned that there's going to be a plan to open up the state on June 15th to the entire state to go back to normal. No more color coding, going back to normal. And again, if you do that, then that means if you can go back to normal, you can go back to work. So let's hope that there's jobs for people to go back to, but that's one reason why they may not do it. Number 2 is bipartisan support. There really is not bipartisan support for the 4th stimulus check. If you don't have the Democrats and the Republicans together on this, it's going to be a problem. The 3rd check was put through rather quickly with just Democratic support, and it left some of the money available to debt collectors and child support issues and things like that people were not expecting. So there would be more of that if you didn't have bipartisan support. Now, number 3, this is a little bit of a constitutional history lesson. There's a thing called reconciliation when it comes to passing bills in the Senate. And I just learned this. You can only do this twice in a year. There's a term called filibuster that you've all heard about, which means that you have to have basically over 60% support to get something through without there being an issue. They can use the reconciliation where just the Democrats agreed to the 3rd stimulus check and that got it through, but you can only do that twice in a year. And because they're working on other things right now, the likelihood of the reconciliation being used for the 4th stimulus check is highly unlikely. Now, the 4th reason this may not happen is that, believe it or not, if you saw those videos of the homelessness and the retail shutdown, there's reports that our economy is booming right now. Even though we get jobs reports that say that there's 700,000 people a week that lose their jobs that are filing for first-time unemployment, there are people that think that the economy is fantastic. And this article in Barron's talked about that, and it said that the government has moved on to other issues, like the infrastructure plan, which again, the infrastructure plan is the perfect place to add a stimulus check. So I don't understand why they would just abandon this, but we will see. It's going to be very interesting. I think that the 3rd stimulus check is going to be spent quickly. I think that people are going to go through this quickly because they need the money. I think that there's a real problem with the pandemic unemployment. I think that there's a tremendous amount of people that are not on it by no fault of their own, that they've been denied the pandemic unemployment when they've been unemployed gig workers that should be on this. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with this. But, they're talking about the government moving on. And again, we will see if this happens. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Please like and follow and subscribe to the channel. Please share it with your friends and colleagues. What do you guys think? Think there'll be a 4th stimulus check? I've read all these different news accounts, showed a bunch of them to you. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with this, and I'm really looking forward to your thoughts, and I will see you guys very soon.